So now we are going to attach the deck to the airframe. Step one is we need to measure 11 inches back from the nose. And that is going to be the point at which the front edge of the prop hole lives. So here we are measuring, there's that at the end, that's 0. This is 11. Okay, just marking it so I can see it. And we're going to work from the top. So make sure this is the top of the airplane. All right, we're working with the top. And the distinguishing feature of the top is the hinge is on the bottom. Okay, so that goes up. The divot or the hinge is on the bottom of this surface here, and this is where the rim is for that to go up. And it needs to be able to go up about an inch, in case you're wondering. Okay, so so this is how we proceed. Oddly enough, this is a pretty approximate process. We don't really finalize the placement of the deck until the very end. That 11-inch mark we made is just as a sanity check. We want to make sure that our motor is basically going to be over it. If you're a little bit, you know, plus or minus an inch, it's going to matter a ½ inch really. But if you're more than an inch off of that, you need to probably go take a look at what happened and realign. Just center it just by having the prop shaft be over where the center line of the airframe is. And what we're going to do here is put these control horns so that the hinge line here, where this guy's going through, is right at the back of the divot that we just cut by doing that little trick from before. You can see how it's aligned, right? I like to have it right there, so it's kind of right on the edge. And we got our little puncher doodles that we used before, put them underneath so we can punch through effectively. And we've got our screwdriver, and we're just gonna, the way I like to do this is get some adhesive squares on there just to kind of hold everything in place. Put one there, because these get a lot of stress on them. And the foam helps keep it in place, and the zip ties just make it strong. So put that there. This one kind of peeled up for me a little bit, so I'm taking advantage of that. This one, are you going to be fighting me? No, good. All right, so I'm gonna flip it over. And we're centered here. Everything looks about right, yes. And we're putting this just after that hinge line, about a ½ inch back from it. Yeah, kind of stuck. Don't push hard until you're sure you got it right. You want this to be parallel to that hinge line. This to, here, you can pull it out a little bit even to help with the alignment so that you can see exactly what you're doing. You can see a little tiny bit of the coat hanger there and a little bit there. Go right on top of it, and then you just sort of sit there. It's very hard for me to do while using the camera to place it. I'll do my best. There you go, there you go. There you go, press it down. Okay. Same thing on the other side. So before we put the zip ties in, we're going to reinforce this with zip ties. So flip that over, give it 1, give it 2, those. And if you need to, I don't know if we gave you enough zip ties foam to build 2 airframes. We should probably change that. But you can use any kind of this double stick tape, or you don't really even have to use. We used to build these things all the time without any tape at all. This just, I thought, helped with alignment and strength, but not absolutely necessary. Okay, so there's my there. And what I really want more than anything at this point, so if you messed it up, put this one way far back or something, just mirror it over here. That's what we really want. Everything looks nice and aligned. That's good. This is going to go back to the sort of the ½ inch back department. So I'm going to pull it out a little bit so it's really clear, because this one's a little longer. And that looks good to me. Right there. Good. If you get them off a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Really makes very little difference. On higher performance airplanes, it does matter. But on these things, not that these aren't, well, they're not high performance. They're really good flyers though. All right. Go. Put holes through. And I have to put on both sides. Really strong Elvon. These things do not fail. Which is nice. So get out a couple of zip ties. My favorite way to do this is to actually put the blobby bit towards the back. You may need to punch through the other side. This is the first time we've ever done anything with a foam, so punch through. That went through all the way. Comes around nicely. Same thing here. There we go. And if you have to, you might need to help that a little bit, put a little hole through it, particularly if that coroplast closes up over it, just like we did on the deck. Comes up, and then we zip tie it up. Okay. Do that. Blobby bits towards the back. Sometimes I'll leave these, but be careful you don't poke yourself in the eye. So I'm going to take them off. There. And same thing over here. All right. And you want to pick the first of these flutes that's solid. Over here, there's no, you can see that there's I can peel it up. There's not a lot of sense putting a zip tie into that. You want the first coherent cell that's got both cell walls from the coroplast in place. And there. Likewise on this one. Okay. Got a pair of zip ties. Okay, float up. Okay. All right, cut and decut. All right, so the Elvons are now connected, but the deck is still loose, right? So this is actually a fairly crucial alignment step. Just you want to get it right. There's not any super duper fine measurings. So where you start with is you want these to be nice and vertical, these servos. So you just adjust them manually, be gentle, okay. All right, there you go. If you need to move them off the spline shaft because you're at the limits of the servo, do that. And there we go, that's nice and vertical looking here. I'll show you what nice and vertical looks like. That's nice and vertical. Wow, it's a little forward, maybe. Okay, that's pretty nice and vertical. Okay. Then we're going to flip this over. Whole deck gets flipped over. Look at all that fine work we did. And then we're just going to grab like 4 squares. I'll put one here. Put one here on the other side. And this is just basically for alignment. Put one here at the end. And put one here. I like to have one under the motor. Just gonna keep that from getting out of hand. Okay. And then we're gonna peel all these up. It takes longer usually than anything else that we do. And get this one up here. Pretty good luck getting these off fast today. All right, so we're ready to attach the deck. Now, a really good thing to do is just to put some stuff down underneath the deck. This was not my idea. Somebody who was taking one of the classes came out with this. I thought it was brilliant. So we flip this over again, all right, going this way. All right, and we place these little guys here that are just kind of keeping the foam squares from sticking. All right, that's all we want them to do. Stick a little bit, just pull them up gently, all right? Because we're gonna do our final placement right now. Okay, so we want this motor in the center. Okay, I'm moving that over, so that's where I want it to be. These Elvons, we want them flat, so put a little weight on there if you need to. Here, put the little charging bowl right there. That'll keep that all flat. Hopefully we'll not go crashing to the ground. And I want to double check that my servos are connected and vertical. And that looks good, you can see, yes. And that looks good. And then it's pretty simple. You want to do it from the front to the back. If you do it from the back to the front, there's a tendency for you to actually pull the Elvons up a little bit. And the one thing we can't do with these control arms is make them longer. We can make them shorter, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you start from the front, there'll be a tendency for them to be you'd have some down trim, and that's easy to fix. All right. So we're going to start from the front. There we go. Press that down up there, working our way back. Pull out the stuff that's underneath. Working our way from front to back. It's all nicely centered. You know, oddly enough, it doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. And in fact, I didn't get it perfectly in the center. You can kind of see them a little bit off to the left. And you don't matter one bit. All right. Not these scales. Okay, so that's attached. And now we're going to finalize it by punching more holes through, like we always do. Make everything super strong. Okay, so we go and I like to have one back here. Don't make them too far apart because the zip tie may not be long enough. And be sure to punch through something. So I'll put one up here in the front. Nice and strong there. I like to put one around this servo. Be careful when you're punching through that if you have the underwire treatment that you don't punch through that wire. Okay, so don't go over in here, go over here where you know things are safe. I'm going to go right here on the outside of the servo arm. I know that's an area that kind of gets a lot of abuse. There, and there, and then I'm going to mirror that exactly on the other side. All right, put one here. And then here. There. Okay. We'll get ourselves some zip ties. And zip tie it all up. Well, my 15 minutes is up for YouTube. 1 minute, 15 seconds to finish this part of the build. Okay. Get the blocky bits on the right side. Particularly if you're trying to work with an up. Look at that. We can go the right way. Let's go. There we go. Oh, 40 seconds to go. I'm gonna make it. "30 seconds. Zip tie. Zip tie. Oops. One missing. Oh, man. Oops. Well, not even the zip tie. Oh, this is gonna be close. I don't think I'm gonna make it. 2-second addendum on this thing. Come on, go. There we go. There we go. Ah! Oh no. Not making it. Ah. Didn't make it. There we go. Done. So those are all zip tied up. Let's clean it up. Again, I usually leave this till the end, but just in the interest of keeping the visual noise to a minimum, I'll incrementally snip zip ties as I go. Okay, we're done.